Hey guys, Coach MarcoRobert here. How's it going? Thank you so much for checking my channel. Over the next few minutes, guys, I'm going to go over exactly how to multitask so that you can be more productive. Remember, always hit the like button if you like the video and subscribe to my channel because I bring a lot of amazing content like this to you. All right, so how to multitask to become more productive? This is very simple, guys, right? Here's the answer. Don't. You don't. See, about 5 years ago, a lot of studies came out finally to prove that multitasking simply doesn't work, right? So the solution to multitasking is something that I call sequencing. So instead of multitasking, instead of doing many different things at the same time, you need to learn to sequence. In other words, to do things consecutively. Now, let me explain to you what that means. So the first thing is, when people are trying to multitask, and it's funny because this morning I was with a neuroscientist in Paris. We were talking just about that. He says they're doing a lot of studies and they're working with big companies in Europe and finding out that the more people have emails, he was talking specifically about emails. He said, do you realize, Marco, that now in big companies, an average employee has about 200 emails per day that they have to respond to? 200 emails. He said that's over 2 to 3 hours of their time that they have to invest every day to do this. What happens is, and they've actually measured that, what happens is most people are trying to answer their emails while they're doing other tasks. What happens is the level of cortisol is the stress hormone. And the stress hormone actually goes up inside of your body, and then it actually starts affecting your ability to think creatively, to actually find solutions. So we know, scientists know clearly that multitasking does not work. So don't even try it. In fact, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was reading a book, and it was a story about the late Ivan Pavlov. Now, if you remember, maybe in high school, you learned about Ivan Pavlov was the doctor who actually rang the bell and the dog was salivating, right? Ding, 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 right? So before feeding the dog, the doctor would ring the bell and the dog would start salivating. Basically what Pavlov proved is this idea that when for every action, there's a reaction. For a stimuli, there's a response, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that Ivan Pavlov was an amazing scientist, very smart man that changed the way that we look at the world, okay? On his deathbed, his students approached him and they said, Dr. Pavlov, do you have any lasting words for us? Any last lessons that you would want us to learn about life? And this is what he said. He said, remember that life is about passion and gradualness. Passion and gradualness. And I remember reading that book thinking, passion I get, right? Life is about passion. I get that, right? Life is about being enthusiastic. Life is about living a life of full expression of yourself. Life is about, walking forward with purpose. I get that. That I understand. Gradualness? I could not figure out what gradualness was. Until about maybe 2 years ago, I was sitting down with one of my clients. And I said, what do you want? Why am I here? And he said, I want X. And he gave me a number. He said, I want to be able to have X. Right? Let's say the number was $1 million. I want to have $1 million. And when he said that, I don't know what happened, but I had kind of a moment of illumination, a moment of epiphany. And I asked him, I said, how long do you think it's going to take you to accumulate $1 million? And he said, 5 years. And I asked him, I said, what if you and I had met 5 years ago? What was your goal 5 years ago? Was it still to accumulate $1 million in the next 5 years? He said, yeah. And I said, how closer are you to that goal today? He said, I'm not. And I said, So what if you and I meet again in 5 years? How closer do you think you're going to be to your goal in 5 years if nothing changes? He said, I probably will not. And in that moment, for the first time in my life, I understood what Pavlov said when he said life is about passion and gradualness. See, guys, life unfolds on a gradient scale. You know, it doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter, where you see yourself in the future. It's not going to happen tomorrow. Life unfolds on a gradient scale. So most people want to multitask because they're trying to accomplish way too many things in one specific unit of time. You need to understand that life unfolds on a gradient scale. In other words, deal with one gradient at a time. Bring all of your attention units, your energy, your consciousness, your awareness to actually figuring out and solving the problem in front of you right now. Do one thing at a time. Then once you're done, move on to the next thing. Once you're done, move on to the next thing. Do it in a sequential way. I swear to you, you will not believe how much you can accomplish in the span of one day when you do it in a sequential way. Why? Because at every step, you bring 100% of you. See, when you're trying to do many things at the same time, when you're trying to multitask, what happens is after 2 or 3 attempts, after 2 or 3 tasks, now you are so overwhelmed, your body is drenched in that stress hormone that's called cortisol. Your ability to think is lowered. Your ability to think creatively is lower. And then you might be performing certain tasks, but the quality that you're going to be bringing is going to be much lower. And, in a previous video, I mentioned that in today's world, we need to bring quality in everything that we do. So you cannot afford to be multitasking because it's going to affect the quality of what you bring. Does that make sense? So just take the advice of this famous professor, Ivan Pavlov, and allow your life to unfold on a gradient scale. This is Coach Marco, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, you know the drill, right? Just hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I bring you a lot of content like this. I share with you exactly the tips and tricks that I actually used with my clients on 5 continents to build over $1.2 billion of wealth in these companies around the world. So if you want to find out more about how to multitask or how to become more productive, guys, just comment below or reach out directly to us and we're going to answer your questions. In fact, I read most of the comments personally. So I cannot wait to see you in the next video. This is Coach Marco. See you guys later.